49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is the latest to pop up on that San Francisco injury report. The signal caller considered day-to-day with that right shoulder soreness. Purdy took part in practice Wednesday. Good bet to play on Sunday, while that tight end George Kittle, you just saw, is playing against the Packers. He said so. He missed the Seahawks loss with a hamstring injury. He's had some minor irritation, but will suit up against the Pack. His coach, Kyle Shanahan.
Not much right now. See how this week goes, but it's limited today, so I think that's good news.
I will be playing on Sunday. Very excited. Can't pass up playing the Packers, so no, I will be out there for sure. Get a practice today. It'll be very fun and exciting.
In advance of their game with the Giants, the Bucs getting wide receiver Mike Evans back to practice. He's been sidelined since week 7 with a hamstring. Evans, 45 grabs in 7 games with 6 scores. Needs 665 yards in the last 7 to reach 1,000 for an 11 straight season. His coach Todd Bowles on any concerns about force-feeding the star wideout.
That's a concern. We're trying to win the ball game. Mike's a big part of the offense, so he's going to be in the ball game when he comes back, and then we'll go from there and see how they're playing us and take it from there.
Meanwhile, the Giants have pretty much bubble-wrapped quarterback Daniel Jones. The former starter is QB3, but isn't running the scout team reps. Instead, that role goes to Drew Lock. With the Giants signing Tim Boyle to the practice squad, you can really say he's QB4. The starter is Tommy DeVito, while players in the locker room like Dexter Lawrence still see Jones as 1, to which Brian Daboll had this response.
I got a lot of respect for Dex. Dex has, been a teammate of Daniel for a while. There's a pretty good relationship with there. And look, everybody's not going to agree with the decision, and I understand that. We make the decision we feel is best, and then we move forward and get ready to go for practice here.
All right, you got that reaction right there. We are now joined by CBS Sports NFL analyst John Breech. And John, let's start with the 49ers really here, because this is a team that's had a litany of injuries. It seems like all over on that offensive side of the ball. Key player comes back, another one gets hurt. Both Purdy and Kittle are likely to play on Sunday. Christian McCaffrey is back in that lineup for several weeks, still waiting for his breakout. They're still in a crowded division, tied for second, just 1 game out of first. But can San Francisco withstand all these bumps and bruises?
Well, they have so far. I mean, you look at all these injuries that have happened, and they're still treading water. And I think everyone in San Francisco is thinking, if we could just stay in the NFC West race until Christian McCaffrey gets back, we're going to be okay. So, sure, they're 5-5. But they're only 1 game out of first place. Now, I do think the Brock Purdy situation is a little bit of a concern. You never want your quarterback dealing with soreness in his throwing shoulder this late in the season. And when you look at how Purdy played against the Seahawks in Week 10 in that 20-17 loss, he didn't throw a single pass more than 20 yards downfield. So maybe that's by design. Maybe his arm's hurting a little too much. So that definitely impacts your offense, because that takes away half the field that you really can't attack if your quarterback can't throw the football. So that's one of those issues you have when you have your quarterback dealing with a sore shoulder. So that will absolutely be something to watch on Sunday when they face the Packers. Now, George Kittle, he's somebody who can definitely give a spark to this offense. He's missed 2 games this season. The 49ers are 0-2 when he's not on the field. And you look at Kittle's done when he's playing. He's scored 4 touchdowns in the past 4 games. He scored 6 touchdowns in the 8 games he's played. And that's been huge, because one spot where this team has really struggled is in the red zone. They just can't score. I think they rank 26th in the NFL in red zone scoring percentage as far as scoring touchdowns. So that's something they need to get up, because their offense has been moving the ball up and down the field. If they start amping it up and getting touchdowns in the red zone, I think we will see this team recover and maybe get that NFC West crown again. Yeah, it's set up for them despite all the injuries, and you have to imagine Kittle would have had an impact in that loss Sunday to the Seahawks. The Bucs, meantime, have lost 4 in a row. They get a soft touch in the schedule this week against the Giants, but need a win in the worst way. How might the return of Mike Evans impact Baker Mayfield in this Tampa Bay offense? Well, I think Baker Mayfield has probably been staring at his calendar, counting down the days until Mike Evans, gets back on the field, because, they lost Chris Godwin. They lost Mike Evans. So he's been really playing without his 2 best receivers for the past few weeks. And it has shown, because, as you mentioned, they've lost 4 in a row. And without Mike Evans, they went 0-3. And that's because the offensive spark that was there earlier in the season has not been there. And so now that you have Mike Evans back, that gives you not just, it doesn't just make your offense better, it makes your red zone offense better. You look at what Evans did. Maybe he wasn't putting up huge numbers, 26 catches for 335 yards this season, but he was scoring touchdowns And that's what the Buccaneers need to do. They need to get the ball in the end zone, and so that's what Evans really does. He gives Baker Mayfield a target to throw to once they get in the red zone. And you mentioned, Jim, they have someone, it's a little bit easier team coming up this week that they probably expect to beat. That's the New York Giants. That's the rest of their schedule. They have the second easiest remaining strength of schedule. They only face one team with a winning record over the final 7 weeks. So when you look at that, there's no reason the Buccaneers can't get back in the NFC South race and the wild card race. So Mike Evans is absolutely coming back at the right time for them.
Yeah, and he got 7 games left in the schedule. If he averages a shade under 100 yards per game receiving, he'll get to that 1,000-yard receiving for an 11th straight season. Meantime, John, it's crystal clear. We'll never see Daniel Jones on the field wearing a Giants uniform again. Jones has been pushed from QB1 to really 4, and it's all about the money, really. A $23 million injury guarantee for next season. There are vets in the locker room who know what's going on, and it's not quite sitting right with them. It was a curious enough decision to tab DeVito over Drew Lock as starter, but why not just send Jones home the same way the Raiders did with Derek Carr?
Yeah, this is a little bit bizarre. Maybe the Jets and Giants just need to trade each other. Daniel Jones for Aaron Rodgers straight up. Both owners end up happy. Everyone wins. But, yeah, this is really bizarre the way they've handled it. Obviously, as you mentioned, Jim, the money is the big factor. You can't afford to let Daniel Jones get hurt down the stretch because then you're on the hook for that $23 million guarantee. You can't let him get hurt in a game. You can't let him get hurt in practice. We've seen players get hurt in practice. So that is why he gets demoted to a spot that didn't even exist 24 hours ago, and we're talking about is right now. So this is really, it's going to be interesting to see how the locker room responds, because if they go out there and they lose by 3 touchdowns to the Buccaneers, that's not a great look for the front office. That's not a great look for Brian Dable. And as you said, Dexter Lawrence wasn't thrilled about this. Drew Lock is upset that he's not the starter, and Tommy DeVito jumped him on the depth chart. So there is a lot of tension in this Giants locker room, and it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out on the field on Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Drew Lock, by the way, has a good reason to be bothered by that decision, no doubt about it. He's CBS NFL analyst John Breech. John, we appreciate the insight. And this is what you got going on, a monster slate of games on tap in Week 12 in the NFL. We got you covered for all of them with post-game highlights, recaps, on-field interviews, and much more right here on CBS Sports HQ. Watch live on the CBS Sports app or stream on Paramount+.